All right, welcome to part 4 of this Honda F22 rebuild. We still got gonna take the bolts off for the intake on the back, but let me tackle the lower radiator hose right now. So right here is the old radiator hose, nice and nasty, just worn out, old. So what you got to do to get this thing out? Now let me show you up on top what you have to do. You have two 10mm bolts. It's part of the AC system. There's an AC line. There's a bracket that holds it on, so those two 10mm bolts have to come out. And then you have a bolt here and a bolt here for your radiator fan. And down on the bottom you have these exact same bolts. On the top you have to take them out all the way. On the bottom you just have to loosen them. It's actually like a slip joint where the you'll see it. It's like a prong, and it just kind of slides into the bottom. Once you have those on the bottom out, you'll be able to pull this up, and you'll have access down to the radiator hose, which is right down there, but you can't see it. So let me show you down below what you have to loosen up. Down here at the bottom, you have this plastic shield that has to come off, or not off, but it has like 6 or 7, 8 bolts, 10mm bolts that hold it onto place. I just took those out. You can see one sits there, one of them sits there, there's another one in the middle. So I just got to get that out of the way a little bit lower down. And then your lower radiator hose is actually right there. Okay. Then you have part of the cooling fan. One bolt is right there. One 10mm is right there, and the other one is right there. So you need to loosen these two up, and then we should be able to pull the fan up and out, because you have this core support that goes all the way across. It does not allow you to get access to the lower radiator hose very well. So I got the lower clamp off the bottom part of the lower radiator hose. Pretty easy. Just got pliers right down here from the bottom. Push the clamp up, and then use the pliers to push the radiator hose up and out. On the top, I didn't remove the fan all the way. I just lifted it up a little bit. I didn't disconnect any of the wires. Let's see, you can see it right there. Right there, the wires are still connected to the fan, so I just lifted it up, 6 inches maybe, and then I was able to get clearance to this. So I'll pop that hose off, put the new one on, put the fan back down, and tighten everything up. This bolt right here, and then this one right here. I unscrewed this one at first, but this is part of the transmission cooler. This is actually a bracket for the transmission cooler line, so I loosened up the wrong one. It's actually this one right here. So just take your time. It's not hard to do it. Like I said, I didn't take the fan out all the way, just push it up a little bit and got it out of the way so I could reach down there and get access to the lower radiator hose. Okay, so I just got the intake manifold separated from the head. Wasn't that difficult at all. You're going to see a lot of videos and a lot of instructions on the internet that tell you that you can take the head off with the intake manifold. What a pain in the butt. Why would you want to do that? Why do you want to take all this stuff off? Why? Anyone tell me why in the comments down below, please. So to do this, you have your thermostat housing, which sits right here. There's two 12mm bolts that hold that thing on. The housing is, where is it? It's right back here, dangling, right? So all you got to do is take those two 12mm bolts out, and then you can knock this free and clear. You're going to replace that O-ring right there, and then you have an O-ring right there. You're going to replace as well. There's 9 12mm bolts that hang onto the studs here on the top and the bottom, and then you have that bracket that I showed you in the prior video. Once you have that out, I had to loosen up the wiring harness for the fuel injectors, and then I got a little bit of room in there. It's really tight, but what I did is I just got a long 1/4 inch extension, stuck it in between the two like so, and just pried it apart. So you can see right there, it's moving. Okay, there's a gasket in there as well. I'm gonna have to replace that, but I don't have to take the whole intake manifold off to get the head off. Now, typically, if the timing belt was intact and the cam gear was there, you'd have to take off the timing belt. But since in this case, it's not there, I'm just going to take off the head bolts, take all those out, zip those out, and I will have access, not access, but I will be able to remove the head. off this F22. Like I said, when I do heads, I think of a Lego brick. This is the Lego brick, right? You got to take care of this side, you got to take care of that side, get all the stuff on the back side cleared, and then you got to take care of this side. So just go around in that order. Just think of all the stuff you got to get out of the way to clear the head up and out. So there you go, guys. A way to cheat that you don't have to take the intake manifold off with the head. The head is held on by 14mm bolts. Let's see. I'll count them when I get there. I'm actually going to reuse these bolts, these head bolts. They're not torque to yield. I know I'm going to get some comments down below. Oh, Bundy, you're an idiot. You should reuse them. Well, I'm a firm believer that Honda made great head bolts. In my vast years of mechanical experience, I have found that Honda head bolts are amazing. And these bolts are seasoned. If you don't know what that means, just look it up. Seasoned engine block or seasoned head bolt. So I'm actually going to reuse the head bolts. I know I'm going to get some hate down below, but leave your comments. Let's get a good friendly discussion going on what you think about reusing head bolts. And now if they were torque to yield, that's a different story, but these aren't. So I'm trying to use a 3/8 ratchet. I'm going to get a 1/2-inch breaker bar. Stepping up to a 1/2-inch breaker bar. These are no joke. It's easier without the extension. Some stuff you're going to read online about removing Honda heads is the fact that they tell you to go in a specific sequence to help prevent warpage. But if you're going this far into it and you're having to change a head gasket, most likely it's blown or overheated the engine. In that case, you better send this head to the machine shop or you're going to be doing this job twice. Oh, come on, baby. Intake is holding on a little bit, so give it some coaxing back here. There you go. The head is off the block. Very excited about that. Didn't need to take the intake manifold off. I don't know why those guys, when I see guys do that, I just laugh inside. So there's a intake manifold gasket. We'll replace that. Take a look down into the cylinders. Seem okay. Okay, well, I'll get the remaining gaskets that I need and O-rings. I'll bring in the new head. Actually, next step I'll do is I'll get all the timing components off. Get that out of the way. But I'm liking where this is going. Looking good, dude. Looking good. Some carbon buildup in there. Actually, a lot of carbon buildup. We'll get all that taken care of. Piston walls seem nice. There's no lip at the top. I think whoever did the timing belt last made it way too tight, and that's why the cam shaft failed. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for the reason why. So we will know, and you guys will be there when I fire this thing up. If you guys have watched this far, I really appreciate it. Here's the head. Just put it down on the ground. Let's flip it over, see what it looks like. Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. It's coming up on 1 o'clock in the morning, and I think I'm going to go to bed. All right, guys. See you tomorrow. One thing you want to do before you call it a night, put something over the block. Don't let anything fall in there or down into the intake. I just put an old towel there. There's the old cylinder head. There's a new one. Stick around for part 5. I'll show you application and theory of a Honda cylinder head. I'll show you guys how to install this seal with a plumbing fixture, plumbing part. I do not know if I'm going to do the valve adjustment now or once I have it back on the head. But yeah, stick around to part 5. We're going to start putting everything back together.